Welcome to Court Case with me, Judge Jaydee. The guys will be given a hot topic and they have to argue for or against, and then I will make the final ruling as to whether or not it is, of course, a hot take. Look, this can get very heated, so once you hear the gavel, it's over. So, gentlemen, court is in session, and let's jump straight into the first subject, because first up, we are heading straight to the top of the Eastern Conference, and there is no better place to start than the city of brotherly love, of course, Philadelphia. And I need everybody just to take it in, because that sentence right there is probably something that Philly fans never thought that they would see after the saga with Ben Simmons. But I'm happy to turn around and say that I do agree with this statement, because even though Ben Simmons is going through, let's say, mental issues right now with the 76ers and communication issues as well, Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid are leading this team right now to glory. Mooncey, take a deep breath, because I want to go to BJ Armstrong. This team looks more balanced. They look like they got more chemistry. And right now, you told me about a hierarchy system in the NBA where everyone needs to know who the leader is. And that very much is Joel Embiid. So I'm seeing a better 76ers team, and you can't get much better than going to the Eastern Conference Finals. How are you feeling about that?
Well, you know, I love Doc Rivers. I love Joel Embiid. However, I don't think this team has enough depth to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And when you say return back to glory, you're talking about in the days of the glory of Julius Erving, Moses Malone. You're talking about champion. You're talking about a championship there in the city of brotherly love. I'm not buying into this, that they're going to return back with this roster as it's currently constructed. I do believe that they're going to have to do something with Ben Simmons and try to convert that into a player. The player that I like there, if we're just saying, and our wishes and our hopes and our dreams, would be James Harden. James Harden is a player that would need the ball, that could play there and would complement Joel Embiid. I think they are one player away. I do like the fact that the team has rallied around this situation. I love it when the coaches coach in the chaos. It's a very chaotic situation. However, winning covers a multitude of sins. They're figuring it out how to win despite not having Ben Simmons. I appreciate it, but I think they are one player away.
Mo, he spoke about the impact of James Harden. I see you're ready to jump in. So you know what? I'm just going to take a deep breath, because Daryl Morey's got some work to do. But right now, the Philadelphia 76ers are looking very, very good.
Daryl Morey doesn't have some work to do. He has a lot of work to do, because he had the chance to get James Harden. Think about the James Harden who he used to work with in Houston. He could have traded for him. He could have got rid of Ben Simmons last season before this whole drama, soap opera, whatever you want to call it, unfolded. He could have had Ben Simmons last year. Could have been in the playoffs last year. Could have had James Harden coming in, training with Joel Embiid over the summer and coming into this season fresh. But he didn't. He stuck with Ben Simmons, and now look at him. What I want to clarify, though, Jaydee, is you said you agree with this take. So are you predicting the 76ers to win the NBA championship in 2022?
All I can turn around and say to you is I can take the league standings as they are at this moment in time. Who's top of the Eastern Conference?
So that means you're going with Utah in the finals too?
If anybody watched the show last week, what did I turn around and tell you about the Utah Jazz?
All
I can do, this is, as my good brothers say in the NBA, these hot takes are fluid. Yeah?
Wow. They're fluid. There's two problems I have with this hot take. There's two problems I have with hot take. Number one, we don't know what the roster will look like by the end of the season. Is Ben Simmons still going to be there? Is he going to be playing?
No, Daryl Morey's there. That's the whole point. Of course he's not going to be there.
Who's he going to be traded for? How's that going to affect team chemistry? Are the new parts going to fit? We don't know enough yet. The second part is, Joel Embiid is great. Like last season, he was an MVP candidate. This year, he's been fantastic. He's been playmaking a lot more. He's been an amazing talent out on the court. But can he stay healthy for an entire season and a playoff run? Because if they want to stay top of the East, he's got to stay healthy. And if they want to go deep in the playoffs, he's got to stay healthy. And with his track record of injuries, as unfortunate as they are, I don't know how that's going to fare. So those are my two reasons why I wouldn't be backing the Sixers to win a championship.
All I would say to you is, I know the Atlanta series played out as it is, and BJ will jump straight at me and turn around and say, a 7-game series never lies. But I think most people would have predicted Philadelphia to get through that. And it would have been interesting to see how they fared up, whether it was against the Bucks or the Nets or whoever they would have fared out in the conference finals. Philly are a lot closer than people think.
I agree.
And this is why I make this take. So, Loz, take it away.
It's difficult to take it away from a man who brought his own gavel to the studio, but fair enough.
Thank you very much.
I think the point is Doc Rivers sometimes falls upon something which works, right? And if Doc Rivers can get the culture right, which with his championship that he does have, he did get correct, then No, it's not a silly take. I think that in that instance, you go, okay, well then let's ride Joel Embiid all the way to the final with someone else there, right? Like you say, if Joel Embiid stays fit, then I think there's a very good take there. The problem is, if he doesn't stay fit, or other teams work out how to deal with him and they come up against someone who can deal with Joel Embiid, I know it's very difficult, but there are people out there who might play around him, we're looking at another Doc Rivers situation, and that's not great for me.
Ooh. As much as I have agreed with everything you just turned around and said about the question marks over the compatibility and how the new pieces got to fit in terms of chemistry as well, and BJ talking about not seeing this team as currently constructed as being championship material, track records don't lie. And Loz just made a great point there. If Doc Rivers can get this chemistry correct, a championship-winning coach. I can't remember what franchise. I can't remember what franchise.
I'm sorry, but that is a massive
franchise it was. But it was a franchise
Jaydee.
back in the late 2000s or between the 2000s and
Jaydee.
I think about 2008.
Jaydee.
You have to be old to remember it now, though, surely, like
It's
a
long
really
time
old
ago.
guy.
You must know Doc Rivers, though, right? You know Doc. You know Sir
Doc Rivers won a championship in Boston. It was a fantastic championship.
With a big man.
Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
With Ray Allen, with Paul Pierce. Not with Andre Drummond and Tobias Harris. Let's get real.
Very similar characters. Very similar characters.
And then you're talking about track records don't lie. What's Doc Rivers doing with the Clippers all those years, throwing away 3-1 leads? Losing in the playoffs season after
Clippers
season.
were perfectly
Track
capable of
records.
doing that without Doc Rivers.
That's the track record of Doc Rivers since 2008. My question is, what's Doc Rivers done since Tom Thibodeau left as his defensive coordinator? That's my question.
Look, as much as I know that Mo Mooncey could go on for another hour about Doc Rivers, just Doc Rivers alone, a breakdown.
I love Doc Rivers.
At
Great
this
coach.
moment in time, I'm actually going to stick with it. I'm actually going to turn around and say the Philadelphia 76ers are going
I
to
think
go
we need
all
an
of the way.
investigation into the impartiality of this ruling.
This is definitely not a courtroom that I would want to be judged
I think
in.
Ben Simmons has got Jaydee on payroll.
You're a statement away from being contempt in court.
However, some people
You're
say
a statement away from being contempt in court. Yeah. Let's switch gears now because we're watching greatness right now, and I actually love saying this because I watched Steph Curry earlier this week drop 50 points and 10 assists, and we know he's cementing himself into the record books as being the oldest player in the NBA to do so. Right now, we're watching Kevin Durant lead the whole of the NBA in terms of scorers and his greatness right now in Brooklyn. But I want to make a case for somebody else in terms of the MVP because that title, the MVP, goes down as the most valuable player. And that's not taking the value away from those two individuals who will be Hall of Famers. But there's another man right now in the 305 that is making a strong case. And I need right now the camera to just appreciate what Loz is wearing because he has given me the insight already. Loz, show him the T-shirt because Jimmy Butler right now should be one of the favourites for the MVP title. I'm loving the production I'm seeing from Jimmy. And they talk about this old narrative when it comes to the MVP, the best team holding the best player. And right now, Miami Heat is in the conversation to be the best team.
Yeah, and I
if
like
we're in
that
the conversation to be the
yeah.
best team, that means you have to give consideration to the best player. And there's no two ways about it. That is Jimmy Butler. How are you feeling about
it
that?
feels like that would have come full circle. I kind of mentioned this earlier, sort of stepped on my own point in a way. The point is with Jimmy, he's come on a journey that has been so public in the NBA, and I think a lot of people have kind of bought into that journey, if you like. There are teams where he's sort of busted his way out. There are teams where he's clearly had bust-ups with other players. And now he's found a place where it feels like home, right? And with that, that kind of marries into that great narrative. It's like Charles Hamilton says, he's MVP of the highlight reel, right? And to be MVP of the highlight reel when you're in all of the packages that people cut together, when every morning you're putting something together that looks consistent every week, it's the consistency. He's hammering away at that door of being a consistent player. Those images of him leaning during the bubble, like he's absolutely exhausted, all of this is building towards him being that MVP style guy. It's just, does he have the people to go alongside him with that? Is Bam Adebayo still, has he got the durability to go along with that? Does he have the shooting that he actually needs alongside that as well? I personally hope he does. I wish nothing but the best for Jimmy Butler. But the worry is whether your team can go with you, because in order to become MVP nowadays, you need your team to take you.
I see this Miami team being built differently. We already know the culture that's down in Miami, especially with Heat Nation, all the rest of it. We know the standards that Eric Spoelstra is going to set, Udonis Haslem, what he's going to do in terms of impact. But right now, they actually have good key components.
That's nice.
Udonis Haslem his flowers.
Why are you trying to crack me up on this show?
I'm giving
This is
Udonis
funny.
Haslem his flowers.
Judges aren't meant to come with
Give him
jokes.
your flowers.
Look.
Where was he when Jokic was lurking?
I'm just... Anyway, but I'm saying the components that they brought in, the pieces that they brought in, the PJ Tuckers, the Kyle Lowrys, are setting the standards every day in terms of in the locker rooms, on the court. I'm feeling Miami right now in the 305. I'm feeling what they're doing and I'm liking what they're constructing. Now, if you're seeing a surge in terms of ascendance from what they're doing there, can you see Jimmy Butler making a case for MVP this year?
Well, I mean, he's in the conversation. He's playing good basketball. The Miami Heat are doing great this season, but I wouldn't say he's leading the conversation or he's one of the favourites to win it. You know, Lawrence, you're my guy, but what you said, I think, is actually the inverse. You're asking the question of if the parts around him can help him get far this season. I think the reason he's playing so well is because of the parts that they put in around him now. We saw last season what the Miami Heat were. Now with the addition of Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker in that starting lineup and some of the bench pieces that they brought in and Tyler Hero getting better, that's why the Miami Heat are winning more games. I wouldn't put it all down to Jimmy Butler. If we're looking at the MVP right now, you mentioned this when you started talking, I'm rocking with Stephen Curry. Because who have the Golden State Warriors added over the offseason? They didn't add no one special. I mean, they had some young guys.
They got someone lurking in the background.
But no, it doesn't
ready
matter.
to go.
They are, when we're recording this right now, they are the best team in the NBA.
Fact.
They're 9-1. They've only lost one game. And their schedule, Lakers, Clippers, it's not been easy games to go up against. It's not like they've been playing bottom tier teams.
Did he say Lakers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said Lakers.
Just
on
checking.
record.
Just
You know what I
checking.
mean? They've played tough teams. Steph Curry showed out. He's been doing it all, and he's doing a lot on the defensive end too. If you watch the games, he's getting busy on both sides of the ball, and it's translating to wins. Draymond is doing great things as well, admittedly. But Stephen Curry, like you said, last night he took that game personally against Atlanta. He heard all the talk in the playoffs last season about Trae Young. Trae Young's the next Steph Curry. And you notice one thing with Stephen Curry, when people talk that talk, he did it against Portland a few seasons ago.
Against
Dame was talking,
Of course.
and he came out and he just rained down. He did it again last night against the Hawks, and he just reminded everyone, listen, I was not only an MVP in this league, I was a unanimous MVP in this league. And right now, as it stands, because Kevin Durant's playing great basketball, there's a few other guys that are up there in the conversation, but as it stands right this second, I'm rocking with Steph.
I get that. I totally get that.
He makes a strong case.
Can I just come back with a couple of points on that?
course.
Because I know BJ Armstrong is probably much more qualified to talk than me. But the point with that is also narrative, right? We both know that MVP almost completely goes on narrative. I'm looking at you, LeBron James.
Facts.
The point is with narrative, right? With Steph, they've constructed that team over time, but not many pieces have changed. So people now can focus in on Steph. They're not focusing in on these new pieces. With the Jimmy Butler side of things, people are going to be, well, he added this, he's been strengthened there. So people are going to use those arguments to take away from what Jimmy's been doing quite consistently in Miami for some time. They're going to go, well, of course now, they're giving him the pieces. We forget about some of those deficiencies that other people have sort of shown in Miami recently and how he was trying to drag them through that. So I feel like it goes both ways when adding these new pieces, how you choose to frame it.
I think so too. And that's exactly why I'm giving Jimmy his flowers. And I feel like he needs to be a stronger candidate in terms of the MVP race. But a man that knows about playing in this league, a man that's a big fan of Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, is BJ Armstrong. So you turn around and tell me, BJ, from what you've seen in these opening 10 or so games, who are you favouring right now? And are you giving Jimmy the nod?
No, I'm not. I'm going to be very direct here. I like Jimmy Butler, right? I've liked Jimmy Butler since he came into this league with Chicago. However, we're talking about the MVP, and you said, should he be the favorite right now? The answer is no. Okay, when I was watching Steph Curry just last night, there's a song here. So we're going to take it to hip-hop because I know Mo loves the hip-hop. There's a song here by one of your favorite artists, Jaydee, in the ATL, Ludacris. It's called Stand Up. And the song goes, when I move, you move.
Just like that.
Every time, whenever I watch Steph Curry right now, wherever he's moving, that defense is moving. Not the guy that's guarding him, that defense. Steph Curry right now is without question, if he's not leading the charge for the MVP, because Kevin Durant is right there. Kevin Durant is putting up big numbers as well. He's right there.
Big numbers.
When I move, you move.
Just
That's
like
Steph Curry
that.
right now. Hey, say it again, Jaydee, because this man right now he's giving it to you. And you know what? In the words of the late MF Doom, put all caps, put some respect on that man's name. That's Mr. Steph Curry. Put all caps, because that man right now had a 50-piece with 10, a little barbecue sauce, and a W, and he's 9-1 right now in the NBA. Now, I think we said it best, Lawrence. He doesn't have a lot of pieces. We didn't add PJ Tucker to this. We didn't add Kyle Lowry to this, and he's still 9-1. Give this man credit for putting up phenomenal numbers, but more importantly, he's leading the charge with this team to win. So you know what? I got to move with him right now. You know what? I got to play defense when I'm watching the game now, because this man is shooting down everything. He's shooting. I mean, last night it was just unreal to watch him taking on the challenge of a young player like a Trae Young. He letting you know, hey, man, I'm still here, so y'all can take that talk somewhere else.
Whew. Sometimes you got to send a statement to your prodigies that are coming up in the league, that are very much looked up to you. And I think Steph Curry is making that statement right now, and it's actually making me think, you know what? As BJ says, give the flowers to that man, because when I move, he moves just like that.
Oh, hey, Jaydee, bring that back.
Hey, yo. I love that.